We are amazing because our passion is limitless and our drive is intense. Therefore, you will not deny our grind. You are now listening to the Faith, Grind, and Inspire podcast.
Welcome back to another great episode of Faith, Grind, Inspire podcast. I am your host, Gene Alert, and today we have a very special guest. And this guest, I've known this man since 2007. 2006, we actually met at a mortgage office, a lawyer's office. He was coming in to cancel his mortgage, his refinance, and I just happened to be there picking up checks, and because we shared the same attorney, and we started talking. He asked me if I was an alpha man. I will never forget that. I said no. But I'm friends with a lot of alphas, and he said, "You look like an alpha man." And I said, "Are you one?" He said, "Yeah." And so we became good friends. This man wrote screenplays. This guy's resume is no joke. He put me on to the first black billionaire, Reginald Francis Lewis, and we'll get into it on why that connection is there. But now I'm his son's godfather, Aaron. What's up, Aaron? And your dad's finally on the show. So I got my man, Patrick Jeffrey, the reason why I started ACA. Thank you, man. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, Gene. Definitely.
Welcome to the show, man.
Definitely.
It's been a long road, brother.
Yes, it has. It has. And I'm very appreciative of what you're doing here, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it.
Yeah, man, we're here. So, so tell the people, man, where you from?
Okay, so, all right, let's do this. I'm going to tell a story about myself real quick so people could be exposed to who I am a little bit and take notes if they wish. But actually, I was born in Jamaica. I was born on the island of Jamaica. And I came here when I was 9 years old. Now, when I first came to the country, it was something totally different than what I've ever been exposed to as a child. And I thought that, well, during my upbringing, my mother played a very instrumental role in my life, and she actually put me on a path to do greater things. She explained a lot of things about life that I think that every mother should explain to their child, just as, being ready. Rise and shine was my mother's motto. You got to rise and you got to shine. And in the sixth grade, I discovered American football. So I thought I was going to be this big football star. Everybody thought, that everybody just kind of made it seem like everyone around me thought that that's what I was going to do. I was that individual, right? I was that star from junior high school. A matter of fact, the high school coach was leaving the high school that I was at, and he would not leave unless I was coming with him to the next high school that he was going to coach. So that's that. I'm that individual. You see what I'm saying? So when I finally, Rookie of the Year. That's the award I got when I first got to college. West Virginia University, when I first started playing football. I got Rookie of the Year. So I thought that was going to be it. Yeah, right. But then in my sophomore year, I got hurt. My ankle got ripped up in the turf. You see what I'm saying? And that experience right there sent me into a world where I was not familiar with. I got real depressed. I didn't see life as I saw it before. You know what I mean? I left school, and I have this entrepreneurial spirit that's in me that you cannot extinguish. It makes me distinguish, right? Mm-hmm. And this spirit had me going out, trying other things, doing things that to bring in. I'm an expert at following up. But I am the king at making things happen in my world. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I decided that I'm going to write movies. I'm going to write a movie. This is going to be what I'm going to do. So I started to write this movie. And no, a matter of fact, that's not really how it started. I said I'm going to write a book, right? I'm going to write a book. And I started writing this book. And I gave it to a friend of mine at the time, and he said, this book reads, it's like a movie. You ever thought about writing a movie? And I said, I never thought about writing a movie. So I wrote this movie called In the End. It's about this disgruntled girlfriend who conjures up an evil spirit to kill her cheating boyfriend. And the spirit gets out. It's a little comedy. But that got me exposed right away. It got me called. I was flown to L.A. and things just started happening right away off of that.
Right away.
Yeah, right away. So I thought, okay, maybe this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then I ran into you. And then when I ran into you now, you just had this presence that I was like, wait a minute, who is this kid? First of all, I thought you were too young to be coming to a lawyer's office to be picking up those types of checks in the first place. I was like, wait a minute, who is this guy? And then, we kind of built this friendship, and I started to tell you about, at that point is when I first met Jesse Weinberry, and he was the guy who was producing this movie on Reginald Francis Lewis. And we talked a little bit, and he decided to bring me on to write the screenplay. And that's when I was telling you that this is it. This is what we're going to do. And you and we started to, remember when I read you the book?
You read me the book, man. Like, look, guys, this guy gets stuff done. I was just like, I was at my office, and he would say, Gene, you got to read this book. And I was like, I don't have time. He said, you know what? While you're in the office, I'm going to read it to you on the phone. So I used to have the headphone on my ear, and he would actually read me the screenplay and read me the book between sessions, between client visits.
We spent hours on the phone.
Hours on the phone, man. But,
right, because I wanted you to get the...
Yeah, he wanted me to get... He was like, did you hear that? Did you? And then all of a sudden I ended up reading, finishing the book by myself. But it was great, man. It was a great experience. But the person to have that much dedication and drive to read a book over the phone to another person is like, that's passion, man.
Yeah. So the story continues after I met you. Then one day when I was in Queens, right? I was in Queens, and when you come out and you see the rain clouds gathering, right? I saw the rain clouds gathering, and I said, you know what? I'm going to beat the rain home. So I jumped on my bike, and I started to fly. On 21st Street, you can't make a left turn between 4 and 6. So I thought I was good. I thought I could just shoot right to the bridge, right? This guy makes a left turn. He nails me. He shatters my right hip. He breaks 3 of my left ribs. He knocks a nerve loose in my eye. Why you see the fancy glasses that I have on now. And he puts me in a coma for 2 weeks, right? So I come out of this turmoil, and life looks totally different. It doesn't look nowhere like it looked before that accident. And it was an epiphany, right? I saw things really clearer. And I decided that, okay, I don't have a formal education. So what am I going to do? And at that time, I was just thinking like, I got to do something different in my life. I got to make something, change. It's going to be a change. So while I was home, I got a phone call. A matter of fact, a guy that I was friends with at the time, he read another script that I wrote, and he brought it to Italy. And when he was in Italy, his girlfriend at the time was friends with a television producer over there. And the guy read the script, and he called me, and he said, listen, we're getting ready to do a documentary on the Buffalo Soldiers inside Buffalo. And we wanted to know if you would actually write the documentary and help us film it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So we did it. It won Best Documentary at the 2009 International Film Festival in Germany. And everything just started to build on top of that. And at the time, Jamal Joseph, those of you guys who don't know Professor Joseph at the time was the chairman at the film school in Columbia. And I met him, and he thought the film was great. He actually saw my grades like because he wanted to know where did you go to school? And I was like, I never went to school. And he was like, well, I think you should try to come to school here. And I will write you a letter of recommendation if you like.
Crazy.
Yeah. So a letter of recommendation coming from the chairman at the film school at the time weighs a ton, I would imagine.
A ton, yeah. I would imagine so.
Yeah. So I took the entrance exam and I got into Columbia University. And then while I was at Columbia University, things just started to move in a way that like I can't even imagine. And let me tell you, Columbia University actually, as far as I see it, it saved my life. That university saved my life because it helped me to look at things a little different. And I learned some people ask me like, what is the hardest class you took at Columbia? And I'm like, all of them. All of them. There's no getting around that. And it is a strong-armed university, okay? They want knowledge. It's not a game. You see what I'm saying? And from Columbia, now I graduated from Columbia, and I started to think, because I'm not one to sit around. I'm not one to like, it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. I know the color of the TV. I know the color of my living room. It doesn't make sense to just sit in your house and do nothing. You have to be out there. And if you're not out there, then things are not. Moses didn't get the 10 Commandments in his living room. Right? No, he was on the top of the mountain somewhere doing something particular. Right? So, I decided to go to Columbia and be the best that I could be. And the first thing I decided to do, right, because now you have to think, okay, I'm in the school. I have to maneuver a way to get around. And the first thing I did, because I know how the chicken avoids the chicken hawk. Mm-hmm. You know how the chicken avoids the chicken hawk?
Tell us.
With good advice.
With good advice.
Yeah, that's exactly how. So I immediately made friends with the librarian at Columbia. The librarians are the best. They know how to give right answers to wrong questions. Okay? Yes, they are they know everything. A shout out to Nancy Freeland. She's the librarian for the film school over there, and she was awesome. She helped me get through that school. Like, and she showed me things that I know that no one who did not go to her had no idea that they even exist at the school. So once I graduated, I got a chance to write another pilot right out of school from a producer called Richard Evans. He gave me a shot to write a television pilot, a Bible. Just going to show everything from the characters to the settings to the scenarios of a television show. It's going to break it down and let you know. It's going to be the ultimate pitch document for a television series, so to speak, right? So, but one day I was sitting in my house and the lights were not as shiny as I thought they were going to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I still felt a little incomplete. And being that I'm the person that I am, I sat down with myself and I asked an important question. I asked the question, what is the one thing that I can do where I can help as many people as I possibly can? Right? And with that question, the next day, I get a call from one of my fraternity brothers, and he says, listen, we have a position for the executive director at the New York State Neurological Society, and we would like you to apply for that position. And I was like, what? Yeah, I don't have and he was like, it doesn't matter. Go ahead and apply. So I applied, and I became one of the finalists for the position. And the doctors, the word that was used is I have gravitas. They said that I was someone they could approach, but I had zero background in healthcare. So they went another way, but they still gave me an idea that maybe healthcare is something that I can really concentrate on. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I now find myself at the New York State Neurological Society, ultimately going for my doctoral in public health to help as many people as I possibly can.
Yo, man.
And now I'm here with you, and
so proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I don't know if you guys listened to the story. He started off, there's so many different parts and levels, right? And mind you, he's doing this raising a little boy, married,
yeah,
in a household.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, he was in a coma for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He had to recover. Most people that go through less pain, less injuries, never recover. You see what I'm saying? You end up graduating from Columbia University with a what? Tell the I know because I was there. What GPA?
Oh, well, it's not as high as everybody else,
okay.
but no, it's not. It's not as high, and I don't like to be braggadocious in any kind of way, but no.
You don't want to tell them?
No.
Oh, okay. You see
it's not important. No, it's not. No. Don't listen to
yeah,
this
okay.
No,
all right.
It wasn't that high. It wasn't that high. But I did fairly well. And it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience like none other.
But anyway, the feat, since you want to be humble, you graduated from Columbia, and you didn't lose any scholarship, right? Because you did get a little scholarship with it.
Yeah.
And he had to maintain a certain GPA to keep that scholarship, so that's how you know it was higher. I'm trying to pull it out of him, but anyway, he did all of that, and now he's into public health, right? Mm-hmm. And tell us about that experience going through this, because that's a totally different shift, going from football to screenwriting to medicine.
Right. So you have to have the entrepreneurial spirit in me, right? Mm-hmm. This spirit that's in me that cannot be turned off at any time whatsoever. It has a philosophical mindset. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's important for anyone who's trying to do business outside the box, right? So the idea is that I have decided that I was going to do business on my own. I was going to have this mindset that my self-control was going to be governed by love and respect. You understand? So that's the thinking that goes behind what I'm trying to do. It is what's going to make things happen for me. And there is no way that my ambition will take the place of my conscience. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So people who are trying to be entrepreneurs, they should know this, or they should. I think that's moral capitalism. Mm-hmm. Moral capitalism is something that I do believe in. You have to be. Where is that in your sense of doing business? I believe that we have a calling as entrepreneurs, because not everyone can do that.
No,
not everyone is. It's. If we take a stock and we take a look at what we are and what we do, is that we make the world turn, believe it or not. That's how much I believe that these people play an important role in our society. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I believe so.
Yeah. So, where were we now? Did you ask me a specific question?
No. You were saying, I basically want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically just told me the mindset that you had going through this, but how did you flip into? How did you get out of the depression?
Yeah,
like give some people.
So all right. I'm not gonna lie. When I realized that I was not going to be playing football anymore, I was hurt. I was crushed. I didn't even want to leave my room. I didn't want to do nothing. I just thought, like, what in the world? You know what I mean? But then, in retrospect, I realized that there is this energy that's inside of me. There is this thing that will not go away. And as much as that, and I was depressed for a stretch. It didn't go away in one night, like
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, no, it did not go. No. I didn't. I'm not that in tuned. But I did manage to pull myself together, and I said, you know what? I'm not a baby. Babies cry. You know why babies cry? Babies cry because they can't communicate. Mm-hmm. Babies cry because they can't really express themselves. So I had to knock it off and get myself in tune to what I really want to do. And this is how I actually became involved in film. I was a story designer for the motion picture for so many years, and I did so many things, and I made a living from that. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to look into yourself and realize that you cannot be stopped. You cannot be stopped. My mother used to tell me that you must not stop. Don't stop at whatever it is that you plan on doing. Make sure you do not stop no matter what. And you know, a lot of people, when people say, well, who did you look up to? You know, they say, who's your role model? And you know, I'm a 70s baby, you know what I'm saying? So I came up when, you know, Run DMC, you know, I came up when, you know, Curtis Blow, you know, I came up with LL Cool J, and I came up with the whole hip hop thing there, and Russell Simmons was someone that I thought was someone to, you know, I saw Russell as, but the other person that I'm about to tell you is probably going to cause a little turmoil because some people usually get mad at me, but
I know.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump was definitely somebody. I was like, this guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Donald Trump was definitely someone that I thought, like, I wouldn't mind being, you know what I'm saying, at a position such as that. But I replaced Donald Trump with Reginald Francis Lewis. Right? So for those of you who don't know who Reginald Francis Lewis is, if you go to the Harvard campus and you go to the law library, it'll say the Reginald Francis Lewis Law Library on it. He's one of the first biggest, you know, donator to the college up there at Harvard. So I kind of took Reginald Francis, because Reginald Francis's motto is study hard and do not stop no matter
what.
Right.
Yeah. Keep going no matter what.
Look, he's dead and gone, and who are we talking about?
Yes. That's legacy.
Right. So I think that is something that helped me a little bit to get back on track, knowing people who look to and keep myself focused. Focus is another big thing. A matter of fact, we had lunch, and Reginald Lewis's wife was at the lunch, and she was going around and talking to everyone at the table and thanking them, you know, real quick. And she came to my table, and I said, "Can I ask you a question? It won't be long." And I said, "If you could describe your husband in one word, what would that word be?" And she sat down and talked to me for like half an hour off of that one question. And her ultimate word was focus. My husband was focus. That is the one word. And he died and left her how many millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. But she would know. He's focused. If she had one word to describe this man, that was it. And I took that and I was like, hey, maybe I got to stay focused.
Yeah.
That means something to somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Focus is a powerful word, man. Like when you're focused, you know, people around you tend to think that you're acting different, you know, and you're not. It's just that you have this laser.
You know, one of the things as I'm coming up, I've lost a lot of friends.
Yeah.
All right. Because especially once I got into the health industry and into the medical college, because I stopped smoking and I stopped drinking and I stopped doing some bad habits, and the guys who were smoking and drinking with, they kind of like fell off. They kind of just, you know, and I try to explain to them is that I'm not better than them. I'm not worse than them. I'm just different. I'm a different person. You see what I'm saying? There's no one better than no one, and no one is lesser than.
Exactly.
I'm just a different. Yeah, I go about it different. It's a different thing now. So all my friends that I lost, you know, I wish you guys the best. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And take care of yourself and live well. But we got to keep moving.
Yeah. You know, I'm just.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because you see that there was 2 times where you felt like this was the way it was going to go. Football, knockdown. You got back up. You switched it. You fell in love with film and screenwriting. Went up, got hit by a car, knocked down again, you know? But this time, I feel like it's a phoenix because I feel like you the third time just you can't get knocked down. Blazing. You know, like you're focused. Like I know you all 3 steps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you did.
And it was or stages, I should say.
Yeah.
And I like even when you told me you're at Columbia, and I was like, I remember you said people don't listen to the man with the broken hip, and that was the joke. That was our joke, and because you know, there's sometimes it's like because it's hard. You know, you have a wife, and you know you have a little baby, and like you're home sometimes, and you can't really move as fast as you did before.
Not at all.
And your family can't understand that, you know?
Yeah. So, the one thing I want to say is
that must play something, you know?
The one thing when we went, we was learning a little bit about social models and behavioral theory. And one of the things, there's an ecological theory that's pretty much says that your surrounding makes you. It has a major influence on who you are. And I think that without the caregiver that I had in my life, my wife, like, I don't know how I would have been able to get through all of this without her.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shout out to Toya.
Yeah. Shout out to Toya, the love of my life. But she actually really played an instrumental part of bringing me back to the point where I'm at right now. A matter of fact, my wife pretty much put me through school.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So big up to all of those who don't have that support. Get it.
Get it. I'm telling you, you know, like, I know your wife, my wife, we come from having the right partner is important.
Yeah, man.
You know, don't go off of the material things. Because when things are good, it's easy. You really test a person's partnership when something bad happens. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like you have a partner.
Oh, no, there's no doubt in my mind.
You have a partner. I know that.
No doubt.
You know, I have a partner. When I remember Toya called me first, we're on our way to I was on my way to my birthday trip.
She told me that you were the first one to come to the hospital.
Yeah.
I was like,
and
really?
I turned around. I said, yo, the trip is canceled. Like, I got to go back to the hospital, man.
Yeah, no,
and
she told
my
me.
boy got hit by a car, you know? So, and that switched everything, man, because I was watching it. And I said, how can, if this man could stand back up and go through, I saw him in the hospital. And if this man could graduate Columbia, yo, I have no excuse not to win.
Big up to the GS alumni, too, man. I just want to let them know. That's part of the crew that I am. And good people over there.
Yeah.
And my friend Avi. Avi's probably going to be listening to this podcast.
Shout out to Avi, man.
Yeah, he's good people. Good people.
Yeah, man. So, you know, and I'm telling you guys this because, you know, it's a mindset. It's support. You have to surround yourself with the right people. You have to have this desire to win.
Oh yeah. Well, I was talking to the producers earlier, and I was trying to explain to them that being an entrepreneur, you have to have 3D vision.
3D vision.
You have to have a 3D vision. It's desire, dedication, and determination. When I was wrestling, because I'm a state champion wrestler for Virginia, when I was wrestling, my wrestling coach, he ingrained that into my psyche. That if you do not desire with dedication and determination, there's no way you're going to be able to win. And that meant that I was wrestling for hours. Even when people had stopped practicing, I was still there wrestling with myself. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I became a state champion wrestler. But with that desire, dedication, and determination. That's the 3D vision that you need in your business.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make you keep winning.
3D.
Not stopping.
3Ds.
Exactly.
Repeat that again for them.
Desire, determination, and dedication. Desire, dedication, determination. Whatever way you want to put it. It's faith, grind, and inspire, actually, if you really
Yeah, facts.
You look at it.
Yeah.
You know?
The 3Ds. I like the 3Ds.
Yeah, nah, it's very important. It's very important, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I think that it's something that I could pass along to those who are looking to do things with themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other advice would you give an entrepreneur that's starting out? Because you actually you helped me birth ACA, right? Back in 2007. And from the stage, we started off doing management and it went totally different. But what can you tell entrepreneurs when they first start a business about the growth and how to grow a business and what to, any advice for them?
Okay, so the first thing that you have to do, right, at least from my perspective, is that you have to know where you're at in life. You have to know where you're at. If you don't know where you're at, there's a trans-theoretical change model that is used for behavioral change. And it's all about meeting you where you're at. You see what I'm saying? So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to know where you're at and you have to be clear on what you want to do. That right there. You see that word grind? That word grind is the action.
Yes.
It is the activity within that. You see what I'm saying? And you can't have faith unless you're grinding. I don't care. There's no way you're going to inspire anyone if you're not grinding. You see what I'm saying? It is the action. So you must know how you're going to grind. You must know like, okay, so you might say to me, okay, Jeffrey, tell me, what is your definition of grinding? What is their definition of grinding? Here's my definition of grinding. My definition of grinding is doing what is expected and being accountable for every action. That is my definition of grinding. Non-stop. You are grinding because what? Your next breath is not promised.
Very true.
You see what I'm saying? Nothing is guaranteed. So why else would you not, right? Be accountable. That is, once you have accept that and you have found yourself to be a responsible individual, there it is. There it is. You will be on the right track. I've done it. I'm talking from experience.
Yeah.
I'm talking from, because of course nothing is perfect. One thing I learned in biostats is that there's nothing is 100%, but there are confidence intervals that are, needed to be. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to be confident at certain levels, and you got to make sure that the numbers are more on your side, because in all reality, entrepreneurs are the biggest gamblers on this planet.
Oh, absolutely.
They are the biggest gamblers on this planet. And I'm not talking about in the sense like go betting on the horses gamble.
Exactly, no.
I'm talking about calculated risks. I'm talking about precisely going after what you want without wavering.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We gamble like that. And we make things happen like that because that's who we are.
It's true.
If you ask, what is an entrepreneur? Of course, the dictionary will give you their formal definition. But if you ask me, what is an entrepreneur?
What's an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur is someone who will lock eyes with you and let you know exactly what's happening. You understand? That to me, if you can't lock eyes with me and let me know what's happening, how are you going to do business? Where are you going to go with it? Where do you think you're going to go? Where? How far do you think you're going to go? We are going to move we're going to another level with this thing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It's so true. I love the grinding part. I love let's talk about the faith part. Now, when we talk about faith, you have to have faith in yourself. You have to have, you have to understand that there's a higher power that comes into play and supports it, right? How do you get there's sometimes where there's ups and downs, how do you, maybe not all the way down, but how do you deal with partners? How do you deal with not like relationship partners like marriage and wife, but business partners? Right? How do you deal with those hiccups? How do you deal with the no's? You know what I mean? Like people telling you, no, this is not going to happen.
I love no's.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them. You tell me no, that means I have to find another way around. If I don't go through you, I am going to go around you. I'm going to go around you.
You know what I realized about no's? And I guess I'm in a different place right now, Pat. You know, because when I met you, the thing I think, I'm gonna ask you because I don't want to assume, right? And we're on camera and we're on air. Why? I'm gonna ask you two questions. Number one, what did you see in me, right, as a 22-year-old kid? And then also, why did you make me your son's godfather?
All right,
because now I have a kid, and I'm like, yo, that word godfather is powerful, right?
It is.
And the thing about it is, it's I know the drive I have, you know what I'm saying? But I want to know like why it is, because I never asked you. You know, why'd you?
Let me deal with it like this.
Yeah.
So, faith. Let's deal with faith, and then we're gonna go into all of that real quick, right? Before we started the podcast today, I did ask you, can I say a prayer for? Right. So, prayers to me are your intrinsic being, that energy in you. It's the way to manifest whatever you want. That's why I think prayer. Some people don't believe in God, right? They don't believe in God, and I'm not knocking their hustle. I'm not knocking it. But the Almighty, right? If you think about it, right? The philosopher Alan Watt, he said at some point the earth started peopling, right? At some point it started peopling. We don't know. They came from somewhere. But the cosmic creator, we're talking about the cosmic creator, there is an energy there that's, you see, we don't burn fuel. No. We consume energy.
Yes.
There's an energy there that I find no matter what you think, if that energy extinguishes or expires, you will no longer exist.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
Right. So faith, it is mandatory. It is a mandatory thing. It's something that we can't avoid faith, because you either had faith in yourself, you got faith in your family, you got faith in God, you got faith somewhere. There's a belief somewhere. It is a constant. You see what I'm saying? So without faith, I don't know how we plan on even wrongdoers. You think about wrongdoers, they believe in something, whatever. We're not even concerned with that. But we have to maintain our own faith in what we believe in. You see what I'm saying? Big up to Bronx Bethany Church too, by the way. I was there this past Sunday visiting, and it was a very joyful experience.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the pastor her name is Pastor Joy, a matter of fact. And I found her to be very enlightening and encouraging. And I think that's why I think church is needed, because think about all the negative things that's there. You gotta outweigh it in some form. You gotta balance your life in some way or another, man. It's just something that I think is necessary. Now, what I saw in you, right, when I first met you, because you came off to me as a very articulate and bright, and you looked right. You see what I'm saying? You were right there with me, and you were able to let me know certain things that I thought was important to me coming up as for the lack of a better word, a black man. You see what I'm saying? You were that type of a person. You came off to me like someone who was of importance and someone who I can actually trust. You see what I'm saying? And I think that the word I think I'm looking for is authentic. You came off as an authentic human being, genuine. And I gravitated to that, and I thought that is something that and once we got close and I realized who you really were, I decided that you're not only going to be my friend, but you're also going to be my family.
Yeah, family.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why when Toya had Aaron, I was like, you know what? Gina Alert is definitely somebody I think that I can actually make. Because if I can't really get you to be a part of my family, then
yeah.
you know.
And it's interesting because when you see people get cut off, because I had a bunch of friends too.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so at the end, when the smoke clears, I remember you used to say, "We'll see who stands at the end."
Yes.
So,
yes.
you know, we'll see
yes.
who will be there at the end.
Yes.
And it's interesting that me and you are right here again.
And you know how many people we've come across?
Oh, many. Many.
But we're still
and we're still going up.
Yeah, I know,
you
because that's why I felt like that was one of the things that really made me appreciate you, is because your positivity was such an impact. You were impactful, and I thought that is something that I needed to be around. That is something that I thought, that's why I was like, you know what, maybe you should, I know you're doing real estate and it's all good and dandy, but you might want to come over here and be my manager.
I was like, what? I was like, no, I'm a mortgage guy.
Yeah,
real estate. And
yeah.
you were like,
and then
no.
I sold it. I sat on the phone and I read to you. And
you told me about, what movie was that? American Gangster.
Yeah.
You were breaking down the numbers. I said, Jesus Christ.
Was it American Gangster?
Yeah, it was. With American Gangster with Denzel Washington.
No. Right.
Yeah,
I didn't remember.
Yeah, that was the movie, man.
Okay.
You because it just got when it first came out. Before it came out, you made me just register to IMDb.
Oh, okay.
You made me do all these little things,
yeah.
But you showed me like, look. This movie just got greenlit. They're making it. Then they went from making it to the release date.
Oh, right.
And then, so you showed me the process, and you showed me the numbers,
the money.
Yes,
the money.
You know.
See, that's another thing. Like as an entrepreneur, of course, I want to help as many people as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to make as much money as I possibly can. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, because you can't help anybody if you broke.
Let's be exactly. Let's be for real. And I said I was at church the other day, and for sure the offering plate went around. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They did not skip that part of the service. No,
my church CCC. We shout out to Pastor Bernard. They have a system, man, and it's a great system because you don't even feel it. Because they only pass it around once. I know some churches pass it around 5 times.
No, they pass it around once.
One time, boom, and it's so quick you don't even feel it. It's like it's not even a big deal.
No, it was good. It was good.
And you don't care. I mean, I don't care. I feel like you're supposed to give back and to keep this thing going because it's part of your spiritual growth, man. Like that balance you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You go through a week, 6 days of just different things. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to take a day to just put positive things in your mind. Before you go to sleep at night, people watch the news at 11 o'clock at night.
I don't watch the news.
I don't watch the news.
I mean, sometimes
I listen to. Sometimes, I'll listen to it through. I get it through other.
It'll come across my screen for some whatever reason.
I'll get it, but
my wife is very good at that.
The last thing I want to do at night is see how many people get shot, see cranes falling on buildings, see all these things like killing people, and then all of a sudden I got to go to sleep and be positive and wake up positive. So what I do at night is I play with my son, play with my family, we talk, it's all positive, and we say a prayer and we go to sleep.
Nice.
And then I wake up and meditate and do the same thing over again so that it's all about positivity. But I feel like sometimes you have to, on a Sunday or a Saturday, whatever your Sabbath is, just take that time and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, just try it, if you don't go. Now, Pat, man.
Yeah.
So, the thing that you said was authentic, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like as a businessman,
Yeah.
if you're not authentic, you won't make it.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and the reason why I say that is because you could see like a scammer. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could see someone who's only out for money. You could see someone who's only out for a certain thing, and you can see past that person, and that person's not going to last long, especially like 12, 13 years, and it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you're an authentic person, a genuine person, a person that cares, somebody that really values people and relationships, I feel like you'll grow further in life. You know what I'm saying? I see people, especially in my business in real estate, I see people like, I've been doing this for 2 years and I haven't made money. No one's giving me listings. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. I'm like, I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because you're going after the listing.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not trying to help.
Yeah.
You're not really trying to help the person. You're just trying to get the listing. If you stop trying to get the listing and try to help the person,
right,
for real, not just help yourself, not just help you pay your bills, but really help the person solve the problem. You know what I mean? And talking about problems, what's your concept? Because a couple episodes back, I had a whole episode about entrepreneurs. All our thing is solving problems, and we're firefighters, right? Tell me what your thoughts are about that.
About what?
About solving problems, how entrepreneurs, like problem solving. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, let me tell you something. Without being able to solve a problem, right, there's no way that you're going to be able to move forward. Okay? There's no way you're going to be able to move forward. So, problem solving, let me ask you a question on top of that. What's more important, reading or doing math? What do you think is more important, reading or doing math?
That's interesting. I would say reading, but it's actually I would say math, because math is problem solving.
Well, neither one is more important. Neither one. There's a yin and a yang principle here.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I felt it was a trick question. So I was like, wait. Like, I feel both of them. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You have to realize that when you're problem solving, you have to take a look out of the normal, right? Normalcy is one thing for people who are looking at, but you have to take a closer look. You have to get a lot deeper, and you have to take a stance. You see what I'm saying? Right or wrong, because you're trying to solve that problem. Until the science behind it is never 100% problem solving. It's never 100%, but you have to take that chance of solving the problem that you have come across. That's it. So problem solving to me is primary, is what we have to do as entrepreneurs. Without the problem, how are you going to figure out, like for my thesis that I'm going to be doing, right, that I'm going to be concentrating on, is I'm going to be dealing with the elderly population and how there's not a person on earth that's not getting older. Do you see what I'm saying? And there's a problem there, because we're all getting older and we're living a lot longer. You see what I'm saying? So since the year 1900, we're living 30 years longer than how we've been expected. So the person who's retiring at 65 is living to be 95. So in between that time, you see what I'm saying? You have to see that problem. And the problem that we're going to be facing is that we're going to have all these people living longer, and we're not going to have caregivers in place for these people. Caregivers are not going to be there. We have to make sure that I'm actually writing an article right now to be published, and it's called Lucratively Living Looking Through the Lens of Longevity. Okay? We have to make sure that we can see what we plan for our older lives. It's not how long you've been living, but how much longer do you expect to live? You see what I'm saying? That is a problem that we're facing on its own, and it's complex. It's coming off my mouth a little easier than it really is, but it's a very in-depth situation, my friend.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Can't wait to read this one. Yeah, that is a problem, man. You see all these senior centers popping up. You see adult daycares popping up, and there's not enough.
Long-term care
is very expensive. It's definitely a serious problem. We're dealing with something similar like that right now,
Yeah. So what do you think is going to be? What do you think is going to be? Think about where you're going to be 40 years from now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Anu's going to have to take care of me, man. You better, man.
Right.
It's well documented I took care of him. And my wife took care of him, so you better take care of us.
I hear you. Somebody's going to have
to do it.
Somebody's going to.
But, man, Patrick. So I guess you answered the question already, but which one really resonates with you? Faith, Grind, Inspire.
Well, the action. We are grinding every moment of our lives. Mm-hmm. And without the grind, there's no way you're going to be able to inspire.
Yeah.
You understand? Faith is necessary for the grind. The grind is what we do. It's how we express ourselves. It's how we show love. If you're not grinding, what is it that you're doing? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gave the example of Moses not getting the 10 Commandments in the living room, which is true. Moses did not get the 10 Commandments in the living room watching Family Feud.
Yeah.
So you have to be grinding.
Yeah.
It's very important for us to take that and make sure that we run with that.
Mm-hmm.
We run with that and keep that at the back of our minds, especially as, when you're younger, there are certain issues that are not even coming across your mind. You're not thinking about diabetes. You're not thinking about, you're thinking about something. But the sooner we get the younger people to realize, the sooner we get them to take a stock, we get them to get focus, grind as hard as you can while you have that strength.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Grind and do what you have to do while you have that strength.
Mm.
Because once you're older, things start to look a little different.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just touched on, you just touched on something with the millennials. That was a little, little quick, a little jab real quick. But,
love them.
Yeah. I think the millennials are, or this generation, I feel like we work so hard. The generation before, it's like we work so hard. And the generation before worked so hard. Everybody worked so hard to get us to this point. And there's so many advances in technology and like everything is just super in your hand that I feel like a lot of kids don't feel like they have to work hard anymore. Because they feel like I could just send a Google. I could just Instagram something. I could be famous if I do something silly and I go viral and then everyone's I do a dance and now I'm on stage with, the biggest artists. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm getting, you know what I'm saying? So everyone's just trying to figure out, like, oh my God, that's all I have to do?
Listen, with technology comes great responsibility. And you're either using that technology to get smarter, or you're dumbing down with it. That's it.
Dumbing down.
You're dumbing down with technology because you can use that thing in two ways.
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? Use that technology to make yourself more of an example of what people do when they have to do things to make things work for them. You see what I'm saying? Don't use it to do silly stuff and that's disposable. That doesn't make you worthwhile.
Productive, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Technology is something that we have to utilize in a way. And now that the artificial intelligence is more coming into play, we haven't even seen nothing yet. We have not.
I know you saw some previews at Columbia.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. We'll save that for another show.
All right, cool, man. So, Patrick, man, thank you so much for coming by. I know you're not on social media.
No.
But, he said no.
No.
But where can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me with you. Wherever Gina is, you can find me.
Jamie's laughing in the background.
Wherever Gina is, you can find me.
Right? Yeah, the co-host, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So tell them I'm going to be co-hosting.
Yeah, so listen, guys. Patrick asked me something. I've been running the show for the last 55 episodes, and Patrick came to me and he said, Gene, he said, I would love to be a co-host on this show. And I was like, Patrick, this is a long-term commitment, man. Like, I'm not going to stop. He's like, no, we're going to take it to another level. We're going to grow. So I said, you know what? No problem. I was like, if you want the challenge, because I've seen this man go through, downs, man. And I seen him go through ups, and I know how determined and focused he is. And I feel like he could bring on another level of focus and another level of energy to the podcast and to the guests. So welcome on. And Jamie's here too. This is our producer. So I think that you be a great fit for us to be a co-host on the show. Because I feel like with your mindset and your grit and your experience, I feel like our listeners will get great value in you, man. So welcome, man.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're going to make things happen. And like I said,
and being that he's an alpha, a Colombian man, in the medical profession world, he's going to be exposing the podcast to a whole different group of people. And I feel like that'll expand our basis. And, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what 2019 and forward 2020 looks like for us. And it's just great to circle back, because you'll hear the podcast, but I started ACA because of this man, and to see where ACA grew. And, I'm excited, man. So anyway.
Definitely.
Everybody, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another great episode of Faith Grind Inspired Podcast. You can follow us on faithgrindinspired.com, the OG Podcast Network. Thank you to our producers, Jamie, Tim, Brianna. And I want to shout out to all you guys who listen to us and watch us on YouTube. Every episode will be aired on YouTube going forward. And just continue to shout out to Brianna. She's in the building. And we pray that, nothing but great health and everybody's just positive vibes only. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to keep growing this thing. So Faith Grind Inspire. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. God bless. Continue to grind. Any last words, bro?
I just want to tell people, focus.
Focus.
Focus.